Hey traders, in this video I have a pretty amazing pattern that I want to share with you that tells me that we're probably likely to see a lot more of a push to the upside on the short term, but then potentially a pump and dump situation. You're going to absolutely love this pattern that I've just recognized, and it's all coming together. It's really, really weird. So anyway, let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. All right, guys, before we get started, if you're interested in learning how to trade the stock market and you're interested in learning how to get ahead in the markets, then grab my flash sale, $7 just for the trading course, guys. And this is going to really help you get ahead in all the markets. If you're struggling in the markets right now, video number 1 gives you the top 13 mistakes you're making right now. That alone can save you thousands, potentially tens of thousands of dollars. Then you have the 10K per month plan. You have 3 powerful chart reading techniques, 2 powerful trading systems, and so much more. Go to Johns with an S, flashsale.com, or there should be a very first link in the description. Go do that right now. So let me share this with you. I think this is just really incredible. I've just been doing my analysis and been doing my trading, and I'm telling you what, I'm getting really excited, guys. I really am getting excited. I was talking to my private clients today as well, and I'm like, I'm getting excited because there's so many amazing opportunities. There's amazing opportunities all the time, but there's going to be amazing opportunities coming. Now, I started looking at, this is the weekly chart right now. I've just got a black bars on here on this screen. But this is the weekly bar. Let me bring this down here. I don't really need the volume because I'm not really worried about that. But this is just the weekly chart on the SP500. I started doing some analysis. I started looking at the last sort of, maybe 1 to 2 years and seeing, a bit of a drop down, a bit of a rally up and right? So then I started looking at sort of a bigger picture analysis here. And I started recognizing a few things. The first thing I did notice, I'm just like, hang on a minute. It looks like there's a bit of a trend line formation happening here. So let me just edit that. Let me just set that as a default. And if I draw my trend line and I'm trying to connect the lows, look at this down from here, right? So we connect from there to there. And I'm going to try and just get the majority of the touches through there. So somewhere probably through there, I would say. It looks like it possibly, or that'll be the line through there, right there, right there. And then also you can see how that if I bring this trend line down through to here somewhere, you can see how it also comes down and touches it through there. So that's actually pretty, I'm like, oh wow, look at that. We have a point through here, we have a touch here, a major touch here, and we have a major touch there. I wonder if there's like a bit of a megaphone type, a bit of a phone type of a pattern here. Because generally when you see a megaphone pattern, what generally happens is that you get a market that does this and it does that. We hit the resistance, we come down and hit support. Second time, and then third time we rally up. We may even get to the top up here, maybe get just a little false breakout to the upside, and then we eventually come back down to the bottom again. So this is a megaphone pattern, and then we end up doing something like this overall. So I'm like, I wonder if there's something going on there. So I started to draw some trend lines. I'm like, okay, maybe there's something going on through here. And I thought, no, I can't really use that, right? Because yeah, you got one line here and you got one point there. That's not a strong trend line. What is a strong trend line? It's got multiple bounces off there. So I thought, okay, now I can't do that. So I'm like, what else is there here? And then I started looking at all the other different sort of angles, and I noticed this. Look at this here. If I use this point here, and I'm just going to draw this trend line up from there to there somewhere, right for there, look at that. We have this starting point here. Now remember, this is a weekly chart. We pick up this point here and these weeks through here, and it right through there. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is looking like some sort of megaphone. Like, wow. So using this alone says to me, okay, well, it looks like that we're probably going to have a bit of a push to the upside. If I look at the daily chart, the megaphone comes in around about the 3,500 level. Now, isn't that a quinky dink? 3,500 level. It's an even number. Interesting, right? So it looks like we may have another 1,000-point push to the upside. Now, I thought, okay, is there anything else there? Because, I like it, these longer term trend lines, I like it when there's a cluster of sort of support or resistance or anything like that in the markets. So what else is there that I can see that may be supporting it? So I said, okay, what about if I draw a trend line from here, and I started to draw it from there, and I started sort of connecting all these levels of support or resistance up through here, right through somewhere through there. What if I use that one? I'm like, okay, that's pretty valid, right? We have this point through here, okay, and then we have this support level through here. And look at this. So look at all the here. We had all this bouncing. Now I know there's a lot of trend lines here, so I'm just going to change this color so we can get a bit of a. I'm going to change this color to. Let's just change it to a light purple. Oh, let's go to a dark purple. So this is you'll be able to notice what I'm doing here in just a minute. Okay. So this is a dark purple. I'm like, okay, there's actually definitely something through here. There's definitely something that I'm noticing all through these levels, all through there, somewhere through there, I would say. Right, so yeah, as you can see, it's not exact, is it? But through here, you can see how that we had the bounce here. We definitely had a bounce off this level through here. And look at all this cluster of support all through here. Remember guys, this is a weekly chart. So cluster of all support all through this level. And look where it is, right at that level as well too. Now, isn't that interesting? So then I started doing some more analysis. I'm like, okay, what about the long-term big picture? What's that big picture telling me? Because there's something else going on here I just can't see. So what I started to do is I started to go from very long term. So I started to go from the bottom down the bottom here, and look at this. If I draw my trend lines up and I'm trying to connect the majority of the sort of the support levels through here, and maybe if I just draw it from there to there, right? And then you can see how that we're getting the majority of these touches all through there. And if I bring this back down through there to there through there, right, we're just looking at the majority of the touches. That's all, guys, just the majority. And let me actually zoom right in. Let's actually go back to this level through here. Remember, this is a weekly chart, guys. It's so fascinating. So you can see how we had a lot of support back through here. We had a lot of support on this trend line. And then as you can see, it definitely respected it a lot through there. And then as soon as we broke down. So there's a lot of activity through this level through here. So let's just actually just change this now. This long-term one is going to be, let's make it a dark green, all right? And you'll notice why I'm going to do this in just a minute. It's all going to come together, okay? So we have this very long-term dark green trend line in place. Now, as you can see, that happens through there, and you could possibly even have it just up, having it up just a little bit more. And why do I do it a little bit more? You can see how it bounced off through there, but as you can see, by utilizing this support, came down and tested as resistance through here and came back down. So there's a lot of support when I was above it, then came down, tested it as resistance. Long-term trend line. Now here is the really interesting thing. Look at this here. Firstly, this long-term trend line here, from the very long term, you can see, right? It's very valid. Bouncing off all the way up and then came down. Look at this. If I bring this up, zoom it in here, not only do we collect this point through there, but it also collects right at that. What a quinky dink, right? Now, yes, I could jiggle that trend line around a little bit. I could make it down through here if I wanted to, or if I could make it up there. So you can see how it's not exactly right, but it's not exact. But you can see how this definitely is a support level. You see it's an area of where the market finds support. So even if it's not like an exact, this area here is a resistance. So here we are looking at this level all through here. We can see how that the level through here was a cluster of what? The green line, which is that massive long-term line, the blue line, which is that bit of a short-term trend line. Okay, and then, or even if we just did with the blue line something like this instead, to make it a bit more something like that instead. Resistance, and had resistance through there. So we had this blue line, but then we also had this purple line coming through here. Now here is the interesting thing about this. This is just amazing. If I go to my daily chart now, what do we notice through here on the daily charts? That up here around the what levels? Where's my green line gone? Oh, there it is there, right? It disappeared. Look at the cluster of long-term resistance right around the 3,500 level. Now, 3,500 level, an even number. Isn't that incredible? It's like Wow, not only is it an even number, but we're getting three trend lines in the cluster of between the 3,000 and between three and up. I'd say around about the 3,500 level. There's a cluster of volume there. Now, again, the trend lines could be jigged a little bit. So you may say, okay, the resistance is going to be up at, say, 3,550, maybe down to 3,450. Somewhere around about there. So that's what tells me that this massive long-term, if I go back to my weekly chart now, this massive megaphone that we've been getting had come down, found support, hit resistance, came down, found support, hit resistance, had support, carried it all the way back up. Look at all that cluster of volume selling through there, and then bam, got a selling down. And now we rallied back up. This is why I really believe that maybe the S&P is getting ready for one last pump before the dump. Now, we know we're going to get a pullback soon. We just don't know when. But isn't that interesting? So anyway, guys, I just wanted to share that with you. Maybe you want to have a look at yourself on your trend lines. You take a screenshot of what if you want to do that. Here is the long-term trend lines. And the whole thing about trend lines, guys, is that how you know you're not making it up is that you're getting a lot of touches, a lot of support levels. So you can see this whole level through this level through there was a massive support level all the way up. You know it's valid by doing that. Same all through here. You can see all the bounces all the way up. You know that's valid when you're drawing your trend lines long term. And this is where X marks the spot. And I promise you guys, looking at what I'm seeing here right now, this 3,500 level, let's go back. Let's see if I can bring that up. This 3,500 level, which doesn't look like much on the weekly chart. Let's go back to the daily charts here. Right, which actually doesn't look like much from here. We are probably likely to see a lot of resistance there. So that's why I believe, guys, not only are we likely to get one last little pump, which is really interesting because if I look at the all-time new high, this is the all-time new high where we are right now. So sort of what I can see happening here is the market gives you a bit of a push. And then we start to go for a bit of a rally. Then it gives you a bit of a false breakout, and then we just start to go down. One last little push, and then hooray, onto the downside. Hooray. So anyway, guys, that's what I wanted to share with you. Hope you really enjoyed this. This is the reason why I say that, this pattern here is showing me how we potentially get pump and a massive, massive dump. Golden nugget, that is. A massive golden nugget in the markets. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, do all that sort of stuff, and go grab that $7 trading course. I guarantee you're going to absolutely love it. See you next video, guys.